Focusing in on a little bit more about Starburst and giving you a chance to talk about Starburst and what the company offers. When you talk to chief data officer, chief analytic officers, what do you say that Starburst, or what does your team say that Starburst value proposition is?
Mm-hmm. Our value proposition, in a nutshell, is really just providing the fastest time to insight so that you can make better and faster decisions. That's it in its simplest sense. And really what that means in practice is, again, being able to have immediate access to all of the data within your enterprise without having to go through the IT organization to create custom pipelines, maintain those pipelines, and move the data around to prepare your analysis. To give a quick customer example, maybe that illustrates this, Comcast, a large cable provider here in the US, is one of our customers. And for them, in their Hadoop data lake, they have viewing behavior. Basically, when you're watching shows and changing the remote control, they're capturing that event data and storing that in a data lake. But in a separate system, in a classical data warehouse, they have the billing data, how much you spend every month, what package you subscribe to, how long you've been a customer. If they want to correlate those two data sources, what shows do my most valuable customers watch, for example, I would need access to both of those data sets. The traditional path would be to take the data out of the data lake, do some kind of transformation on it, and load it into the data warehouse so that you could analyze it. But that means, weeks of effort to build those pipelines, and ultimately probably many hours to actually move that data. The alternative model and what we offer at Starburst is you can run a simple query. You can join table A with table B and get the results you're looking for in a matter of seconds, rather than the weeks or months it took to prepare those custom pipelines. And you do all of that without having to move data, without having to create extra copies of data in the process.
I can definitely see running a fast and efficient query would save a lot of time rather than going the traditional warehouse way. I've heard that, I've said, I'm not sure if it came from you, Justin, but one has to build optionality into data architecture. Mm-hmm. From your point of view, why do you think this is critical at this time?
I think it really goes back to one of those earlier points we discussed of constant change being the only constant in today's day and age, meaning that every company is undergoing some kind of transformation, digital transformation, cloud transformation. They've got new sensor data, new application data, new web traffic data that they want to incorporate into their analysis. And so as a result, your architectures are going to continuously be evolving. So how do you create a platform that can stand the test of time? How do you sort of future-proof the architecture that you're building? And I think the way that you do that is by embracing this notion of optionality at every step. That might mean doing things like using open data formats in a data lake, storing data in these file formats that are open source and allow you to use multiple tools to interact with them. You might use Databricks to train a machine learning model, create a recommendation engine. You might use Starburst to do your SQL BI reporting applications off of the same data sets because they're open format that both can query. So that's an example of where you can weave optionality. Another example would be thinking about a platform like Starburst as an abstraction layer above the different data sources that you have, so that now your analysts, your end users, don't have to know where the data lives. And by doing that, you decoupled them from where the data is stored and therefore can move data around without them being impacted. So for example, if you're doing a cloud migration, maybe you're taking some tables out of a classic data warehousing platform. You want to take those tables out and move them to Amazon or Google or Azure. And in so doing, you don't want to disrupt the analyst. The analyst shouldn't have to know if it's in Teradata, if it's in AWS, if it's in Oracle. They don't care. They just want a fast query result. And so if you create this kind of abstraction layer in between, now you can make those moves without impacting them. They're still happy. They're getting the results that they want. You're achieving the goals that you want to achieve by perhaps moving data to the cloud.
And letting the resource do what they do best, which is analyze the results rather than worrying about the technology foundations.